Hi everyone, this is Sam with the Wine News in 5. Before I get to global news, we do have a lot of team news this week. Next week, Jancis will be in the Netherlands hosting a Judgment of Paris update dinner. I'll be in Paso Robles moderating the Rhône Rangers experience. There are still tickets to both of these events, and we would absolutely love to meet you. Our California correspondent, Alder Yarrow, has been shortlisted for the Communication and Education Old Vine Hero Award for his work on the Old Vine Registry. Tam said it best this week when she told our team, Alder's invested everything: his intelligence, tech savvy, wine knowledge, writing talent, network, passion, compassion, dispassion, diplomacy. His work has given places, wines, vines, varieties, and people validation and value, and might well have saved domains, livelihoods, and ecosystems. Alder is shortlisted alongside Michelle Shaw, Dr. Dylan Grigg, and Nacho Leon. Please go read about all of these impressive people, as well as the shortlisted candidates for the categories Best Viticulture Team, Next Generation, Old Vines, New Technology, and Research, and cast your votes. Julia Harding, MW, was interviewed by ASI Magazine for their February issue about how she got into wine, the relationships that have helped shape her career, and what drives her to write and edit. That interview is now published, and I'll link it in the transcript of this newscast. Finally, we continued our re-release of Vintner's Tales yesterday with my favorite episode to date, which features Roy Richards and Mark Walford of the UK import company Richards Walford. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip telling you about it, and I'm just going to trust that you'll go and watch it. On to the news. Today I'll update you on Trump's tariff war, higher taxes in South Africa, a possible alternative to using copper in vineyards, a new Regenerative Organic Certified producer, the passing of Rudi Wiest, the Ruinart challenge, and a Rhône wine tasting in London. First up, Trump's tariff war. On Thursday, March 13th, Donald Trump threatened 200% tariffs on alcohol imported from the EU starting on April 1st if the EU does not abandon its planned 50% tariffs on U.S. whiskey. The 50% tariffs on whiskey were proposed only after Trump's 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum entering the U.S. went into effect on Wednesday, March 12th. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that the EU is open to meaningful dialogue as higher tariffs are in no one's best interests. I cannot adequately describe to you what 200% tariffs would do to the U.S. wine industry. The wine industry is not just producers of wine. It is grape growers, importers, distributors, retailers, restaurants, journalists, equipment manufacturers, scientific labs, and so much more. According to data from the Comité Européen des Entreprises Fonds, the CEEV, roughly 27% or 4.91 billion US worth of European wine is purchased by the US each year. Most of that wine is imported, distributed, and sold to consumers by US companies who serve US wine producers alongside their EU producers. Without EU wine imports, those businesses will suffer. Ben Anef, president of the U.S. Wine Trade Alliance, was quoted by the publication VinoJoy as saying, a 200% tariff on imported wine would destroy U.S. businesses. He also points out that it would be more damaging to the economy in the U.S. than it would in Europe. As it stands, U.S. wine producers have already lost their largest export market, Canada, due to tariffs. They now stand to lose distribution networks and retailers. Meanwhile, their material costs for steel, tanks, and oak barrels will go up with the new tariffs. This is bad for every single segment of the U.S. wine industry, as well as the EU wine industry, which would lose its largest export market if this was to happen. On to higher taxes in South Africa. On March 12th, the South African government announced a 6.75% increase in excise taxes on alcohol. South Africa Wine, the trade body representing the industry, has pointed out that their excise tax burden is already significantly higher than other wine-producing countries, and that this increase is likely to accelerate job losses, drive producers out of business, result in illegal trade, which will erode government revenue, and will ultimately make South African wine less competitive globally. Next, a possible alternative to using copper in vineyards. Thank goodness for some good news. Though strictly speaking, this is a bit old. However, it was just published in French publication Vitisphere. On January 26th, the European Commission approved grapeseed extract as a fungicide to treat downy mildew, a disease traditionally treated by spraying copper in vineyards. Copper, much as it's a necessary treatment, is detrimental to soil health. But trials have shown that grapeseed extract is an effective treatment against downy mildew, and it's able to reduce the amount of copper sprayed by as much as 73%. The company Serience plans to launch a product utilizing grapeseed extract in 2026. Onto a new Regenerative Organic Certified producer. The 237-acre Halter Ranch estate in Paso Robles has just gained Regenerative Organic Certification. That brings the total number of ROC producers worldwide to 28. Onto the passing of Rudi Wiest. On March 9th, the wine industry lost Rudi Wiest. Wiest helped to open the U.S. market to German wines after World War II and brought producers such as Egon Müller, J.J. Prum, and Kartauserhof to the U.S. market. In 2019, Rudi Wiest's selections closed and reopened as the German Wine Collection. Paula Sidor has written a lovely tribute to him on our forum that I urge you to go read. Finally, the Ruinart Challenge and the Rhône Roots wine tasting in London. My last two items qualify more as opportunities than news. The first is that the Ruinart Sommelier Challenge, a blind tasting competition that awards the winner an expenses-paid trip to Champagne, will be accepting applications until May 16th. The competition will take place in London on June 30th. The second is that Rhône wine specialist Matt Walls has organized a Rhône wine tasting with a mind-boggling list of attending producers in London on the evening of April 30th. Walls has offered a discount for members of JancysRobinson.com, which you can find on our forum. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. If you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please subscribe to JancysRobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email news@JancysRobinson.com. Thank you.